Now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is such an honor to have this excellency be with us here today. We'd like to sincerely welcome the Federal Minister of Interior and Planning, Development and Reforms, His Excellency Professor Ahsan Iqbal. Sir, thank you so much for being with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a big round of applause. Your Excellency, it's such an honor for you to be with us here today. Now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to invite our next keynote speaker. He was the CEO of Nestle Pakistan Limited, and he has taken over as the president of the Overseas Investors Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or OICCI, for the 2018 term. Please give a big round of applause for our beloved Mr. Bruno Olierhoek, the president of OICCI, to come up on stage.
Honorable State Ministers, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Heraclitus of Ephesus, a Greek philosopher, already talked about disrupting the future, and he did it in the 6th century BC. In his doctrine, change is central to the universe. And I'm sure you all know, maybe you don't know his name, but you know his famous quote, "The only thing that is constant is change." My name is Bruno Olierhoek. By the way, I'm still heading Nestle Pakistan, just to make sure we don't get confused. But this year, I am the president of the Overseas Investors Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or OICCI for short. I grew up in the Netherlands, and I'll come back to that later. I studied in France, and I've worked my whole career of over 23 years with Nestle in France, Southeast Asia, Switzerland, Africa, and since 2015 here in Pakistan. I've personally come to the conclusion that while we are living indeed in changing times, we must also learn from the past. As time and again, I see that timeless fundamentals hold true. However, processes are expressed in new ways, with new methods, utilizing new technology, and indeed evolving with more and more change and speed. So I thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of this event, gathering highly competent and well-known leaders of industry, commerce, and the government. As president of OICCI, let me start by informing the distinguished leaders present here today some brief facts about OICCI. By now, everybody knows that we are the oldest chamber in the whole of South Asia, and we are the largest chamber of commerce in Pakistan in terms of economic contribution. Our 200 members are coming from 35 countries, and they're operating in 14 key sectors of the economy. We contribute about 18% of the GDP and 1/3 of the tax revenues of the country. And we have, in the last 5 years, reinvested $8 billion in expanding our facilities here in Pakistan. 50 of our members are subsidiaries of Fortune 500 companies and are leading players on the CSR front in Pakistan. Our purpose is to promote overseas investment by leveraging global experience for members and Pakistan's benefit. OICCI members are indeed recognized for their thought leadership and that they have provided over the years. We're looked upon as agents of change, and our latest initiative, OICCI Women, Empowering for a Brighter Tomorrow, is a landmark initiative to build a more gender-balanced workforce and to make women equal contributors to the socio-economic growth of Pakistan. Now, before I come to the main point of my presentation, I want to tell you a little bit about my country, the Netherlands. It's a small country, yet the third largest contributor in terms of OICCI members. And how is it possible for such a small country that has little land, almost no sun, and few people, to become the second largest exporter of agricultural products in the world? Well, the Netherlands, as you may know, consists in large parts of polders. That's land reclaimed from the sea, which requires constant pumping of water and the maintenance of the dikes. So the different societies living in the same polder have been forced throughout time to cooperate to avoid flooding of the polders, which would lead, obviously, to everyone suffering. This has taught the Dutch to set aside differences for a greater purpose, which can explain their economic success. They call this the polder model. This model is still in place in the Netherlands in the form of a social and economic council. It's an advisory body that consists of unions, employers, and the government. And they work together on the key issues to maintain high growth, low unemployment, low inflation, a budget surplus, and a generous welfare system. By working together, they manage to systematically improve the ease of doing business in the Netherlands. Now, turning to the main theme of this conference, disrupting the future, as OICCI President, which is the collective voice of the foreign investors, I'm going to focus my comments on how we can contribute to make the future brighter and better for Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, OICCI is a research-based organization. We do selective but regular research on business confidence, foreign investors' perception on doing business, the status of intellectual property rights and security in Pakistan. And in the recent results of our business confidence surveys, it has been largely positive, despite all the noise on the political front. Why is that so? Well, we think that business people, small, medium enterprises, or large companies all see the opportunity in this country. A country of over 200 million people, with roughly 70 million in the middle class, which is spending money on consumer goods and other durables. Similarly, in our survey, the foreign investors, who are our members, are even more positive of the investment climate and the opportunities in Pakistan. For example, our research finds that out of 10 Asian countries, Pakistan has been rated as equal to or better than 6 countries that include India, Indonesia, Vietnam, and the Philippines. Over 75% of our members have plans to invest more in the next few years. And you'll be pleased to know that our members listed in the Pakistan Stock Exchange have in the past 7 years shown an annualized growth of over 13% in US dollars in profit before tax. Now, in which country would you get this type of return? If you want more facts and information about the overseas investors, I invite you to go to our website, which is www.oicci.org, to read or download some of our reports. However, the next logical question then becomes, why is Pakistan not attracting more foreign direct investment? Let me answer this question in the following manner. Many of us are used to hearing people talking about what is not good in Pakistan, what is hampering economic growth and employment, and the negative image of the country. Unfortunately, not many people try to present the solution on the way forward. As a representative of a leading foreign investor with experience of operating in many countries, the first things that will strike you here when you arrive is that while many of the local and foreign investors are key to generating continued employment and growth, the private sector hardly has a permanent position at the government level. While OICCI, FPCCI, PBC, and many other chambers do occasionally access to top political and government leadership, there is no formal forum where on a regular basis political leadership is made aware of the opportunities and constraints to trade and investment. In our meeting with the Honorable Prime Minister in early January, we proposed to set up a Pakistan Private-Public Council. We want to gather key people from the federal and provincial government, together with the Board of Investment and representatives from the private sector, to set up an exclusive advisory body to help shape the economic policy and top challenges to trade and industry in Pakistan. Put into practice in the manner suggested by us, this forum will resolve some of the key economic challenges, including the low foreign direct investment inflow, the need for a simplified tax structure with tax rates aligned to the neighboring countries in the region, poor rating of the World Bank Ease of Doing Business, interprovincial harmonization and the need to move the informal sector to the formal sector, and build an interactive trade policy to boost the exports. The government has very well managed the security and energy challenges over the last few years. The economy, despite many constraints, is now growing at over 5%. But that is not enough, and it's well below the potential of this country. Pakistan has the capacity and the need to deliver over 7% consistent growth to meet its potential. And with CPEC investment taking more visibility and delivering on the promise, we see many opportunities for new industries. The other challenge to foreign direct investment is this negative image of the country abroad, which is more negative than the reality. This can change over time by attracting new investment, encouraging the existing investors speaking for Pakistan, and should be supported also by the vibrant local media, taking its responsibility to promote the economy as much as it does to other sensational news. The political and business leadership have to be more open and engaged with international media, be more visible at international business forums, and hold more and more international events in the country, such as these. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by saying that I see more opportunities than constraints in Pakistan. But I also believe that we as a society have to care more about the economy and not about politics only. To do this, the government should consult the private sector in a systematic manner. Only then can we talk of disrupting the future. And as the only thing that will not change is change itself, let us embrace change. Let us embrace technology and leverage technology. And let us work together, the private and public sector, on our common issues for a better and brighter tomorrow, inshallah. Pakistan Zindabad. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bruno Olierhoek, for the very insightful presentation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, just like Mr. Naim Zamindar, Mr. Bruno Olierhoek also strives and vows to provide investors, locals and also international investors, a better haven and I guess a more hopeful haven for investors to invest here in Pakistan. Once again, please give him a big round of applause.